Okay, so the market open in a few seconds from now, in about 2 minutes actually. 2.5 odd point change on the Nifty, and we'll put out the top gainers in the pre-open session that will come up on your screen. G. Chokalingam is with us, founder Economics Research. Choka, good morning. Good to have you as always here. Somewhere around here, I think we should get a bit of a correction, you think?
As I said earlier, the correction may come only if monsoon forecast is bad. Otherwise, I don't expect any correction in the short term.
Although that is still some time away.
Yeah, and another 3 weeks time we should get the forecast. These days...
and that is only the forecast, yeah, which might be
but,
right or wrong.
No, off late, the forecast coming from US true. And Japan.
Yeah. No, even the Met, I mean, actually, yeah. Their forecasts have been pretty, last 2 years now.
2 years, but long-term average is poor.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but Japanese and US agencies' forecast is quite accurate. So that comes little before IMD forecast.
Yeah.
So that would make a big difference.
Yeah. But even without those things, I mean, 800 odd points in a very short time span. Right?
Yeah, this is what I have been saying, you know. These days, people like us have to be visionary, try to become visionary. Of course, we fail many times. And, you know, because the market doesn't give you a chance. Yeah. So you have to anticipate whether fall or rise, whether for whole market or for individual stocks.
For individual stocks. Now, the market is open. Let me just quickly read the prices out. I'll come back to Choka quickly. Tata Power starts 2% higher. Hindalco is up 2%. Grasim about 0.9%. Tata Steel 0.75% higher. ACC is up 0.6%. Vedanta is up 0.6%. Mahindra & Mahindra 0.5%. Hero MotoCorp 0.5%. It's all quiet. I mean, except Hindalco and Tata Power, which are up about 2% or so. There's very little excitement out there in terms of the start. You got about 28 stocks higher, 22 stocks lower. Axis Bank is a top loser with just under 1% cut. It's followed by Sun Pharma, which is down 0.8%. ICICI Bank is down 0.75%. SBI is down about 0.75%. HDFC Bank is down about 0.6%. Reliance, Kane, Bank of Baroda, the other 0.5% losers. And it's pretty evenly split. I mean, almost in the middle, down in the middle in terms of gainers and losers on the Nifty stocks. 10 points down in this Nifty right now. Let's look at Cadila. It sold off about 10% from the highs in the last 30-40 minutes of trade. Was down 5% close to close. It'll come up on your screen again. We got some numbers which we put out, which management said seems small, the impact for Cadila. What do we have? 2% lower on Cadila. That's about 321 at this point in time. So, I mean, apart from that, very little in terms of stocks which are really making a large difference one way or the other. Let's just quickly take a look at the mid-cap index as well. Before we go on, I mean, Bhushan Steel is up 2%, GVK is up 1.5%, Max Financial Services 1.33%, Glenmark is up 1.3%. There's Aditya Birla, which is starting about 1% higher as well. Cadila is down 2.5% now. That's an 8 rupee cut, 319 or so. Tata Chemicals down 1%, IDBI down 1%, Crompton at about 46.5 down 1%, Canara Bank down about 1.25%. As well. 15-point cut on the Nifty is what you're starting with. The Sensex is down about 80 odd points or so. So that's the overall tally so far on the index. I mean, you know, just the cement stocks have had it pretty good. In the last 6 or 7, I mean, today is I think the seventh day. Stocks have done between 10 and 15-16% depending on what name you look at. You know, if you look at ACC, yesterday was down 0.5%, Monday was up 3%, Friday was up 5%, Thursday was up about 3% or so. I mean, this is just last week. There is some buoyancy across the board, large cement stocks, smaller cement stocks. There is some buoyancy which is coming through. ACC and Grasim both figure amongst the top 5 gainers on the Nifty. Bosch is up 1.5% as well. And actually, it's Ambuja, if you extend the list to the top 6 gainers, there's ACC, Grasim, Ambuja. BPCL is up 1%. We'll put out the other oil marketing stocks as well. Tata Steel is up 1%. Bharti, Hero MotoCorp are the other names. Okay, I mean, if anything is moving, mid-cap, small-cap, with volumes of price, you'll find it up on your air. You won't miss a thing, so stay with us. Let's go back to Choka. Choka, you were saying that all of us have to develop vision.
Yes, because, you know, I mean, on a positive note, you know, 10 years back we had one channel. Today you have 4-5 channels. Then you have social media. You know, the net speed also increased. So people react instantaneously across the world.
Speed is processing speed, not vision.
So people react instantaneously, whether it is a fear
and of course,
or...
the number of variables, forget the sources of information, the number of variables which you used to track 10 years back is also a lot larger. Right? Now a lot larger.
So that's why, you have to be a visionary, because people sometimes, the small incremental news, they react in a big way in the market.
Yeah.
So that's why these days you have risk as well as a reward for smart people.
Yeah. But, as someone said, in response to a question about the code, I think it was in the book, The Market Wizards, and this gentleman was asked, do things in markets change? And his response was, I don't remember who the answer was from, but he said, I remember the answer, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, things always remain the same in markets because they keep changing all the time. So in that way, slightly philosophical way of looking at things, the number of variables may have increased, things may be faster, but the general ebb and flow in the market remains the same. What drives the ebb and flow remains the same.
Absolutely. I mean, that is why, unfortunately, 95% of the people don't make money. I'm talking about retail investors. Other day, President saying that the number of investors participating in the market is down after 25 years. So, there's some communication for the regulators to look at and, try to improve the participants.
Rohit Srivastava joins in as well. Rohit, good morning. Good to have you here. Fund manager Sher Khan. What's your sense, Rohit? I mean, somewhere around here we get a bit of a correction?
7760, I think, is the next level to watch for if we are to see any kind of a pause or a correction. And I mean, it's similar. We are going to be going level to level. So 7600 was the first blow off level. 7760 will be another one. Either we stop there or we pause there for a while, and if we extend beyond that, then we'll start looking at higher levels again, which will be the next one would be closer to 7980. So it's going to be level to level. The only thing to say is, I mean, one is if you're trading, of course the trend is still up. We haven't got a reversal in terms of the trend. But the question remains whether this is going to end up as a sustainable, rally, and I think that question will continue to haunt us for a while. My sense is that at some point it's still a counter trend move to what we've had almost a 1 year decline in the Nifty. This is probably the strongest rally since the fall started at from 9916 over a year ago. And in that sense, it's a large retracement of that entire fall. So you can retrace 50%, you can retrace even 61% of the entire fall if nothing goes wrong. But once you're done with that, I don't think you're running away into new highs. I think risks remain, and you'd probably see a correction at some point of time once again. So you have to watch out for when and where that will happen. And levels could vary, so you cannot be specific about it right now. But 7760, I think, is the next level that we are going to be watching.
760 you said, right?
7760, yeah.
Right. And if I ask you to kind of put a timeline to it, is it possible? I mean, does it make sense taking fresh long positions on the Nifty here?
Probably you'd want to wait a few days and see what happens, because you're close to now 7760. If you didn't respond exactly at 7600, your risk reward may be slightly unfavorable. If you give it a few days and you find that it's consolidating at this level, then probably you would want to take that trade. So I think give it a day or two to see what happens, because some indications, like for example, even the US, it's had a pretty strong rally. Some indicators there are beginning to get overbought, and there is room for some reaction to happen, and to take that call, you really want to know whether you're going to get past 7760. If not, then the risk reward might not be favorable to going long only on the last 30 to 40 points.
Absolutely. Rohit, I mean, I don't ask you to name trades that you've got on or your team might be having on, putting on, etc. But anything looks interesting from an overall perspective? I mean, markets, stock-wise, I'm talking, or maybe other indices apart.
Yeah, I think I've repeated this sector, so I'll repeat it again, and it's sugar. And the reason I repeat it again is I don't know if most people watch, and I tweeted a chart yesterday. The sugar prices internationally are at more than a 52-week high. You know, they just surpassed the high that they made in Jan. So in that sense, we are actually at a new high for 2016. And I think that could have an impact on sugar stocks. They've been holding up, have rallied a bit in this move. In fact, some of them have surpassed their December highs as well. So I think that's one peculiar area within the agro space which is showing performance and might continue to do so if sugar prices continue to rise, and it looks like that's likely to be the case.
Sorry, which contract do you see? I mean, can you, for sugar, what should one look at?
Yeah, it's the, I get a CSCE. CSCE is the international sugar M CSCE. That's the price data that I'm getting. And so you can just look it up. So it's international sugar. Domestically, of course, they've banned it from trade. Otherwise, you could have had a domestic price chart too. We used to have that till they stopped trading on NCDX.
Okay, fair enough. Chokam, I discussed, you were on the show 2 days back, we discussed a fair number of stocks, etc. I just want to throw a few names to you. Just Dial, I mean, what's your sense? I think it saw a big move yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, very surprised. If you see the delivery percentage, it varies from 2 to 9%.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of speculative activity. So the investor should be very cautious. I mean, because the company is not able to grow its profit, and now it enjoys more than 30 PE. So definitely the growth, the PE would contract if company like this fails to show any growth in profit. So it's a very speculative. It's a very risky to buy, risky to hold also.
Is there any reason to buy it?
There is no reason. There is no reason to buy at 35 PE. There is no reason. The PE can.
I mean, was there any reason to buy it at the 560, 550, where it fell to? I mean, I found it very difficult to find reasons.
According to me, the fair price is anywhere around 500. But unfortunately, in our market, a lot of things happen. Just if I can deviate with your permission, look at the sugar stock. The surprising fact in Indian equity market is that the sugar stocks are known for creating wealth, and equally they are known for destroying wealth. Many sugar companies from 2006-07 boom, they have fallen even 70-80%. Now look at Dwarika Sugar. The stock is up 10 times. And for the first 9 months, they have posted losses cumulatively. And, it is up 10 times, and there is a lot of activity in the stock. So it is, the retail investors, the problem is not with the market. The problem is with some of the retail investors who get tempted and buy such a fancy valuation. So they have to correct. Then only these stocks will correct.
Retail investors, or maybe retail investors obviously get in very late, the operators or whatever, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just wanted to express my concern for the retail investors.
Skepticism, yes. Yeah. No, skepticism is very healthy. Fair enough. Now, so that is Just Dial. I wanted your sort of specific thoughts on Aurobindo Pharma is the next one.
See, I am not quite optimistic on most of
I know you like Biocon and JB Chemicals and Pharma, but yes, Aurobindo.
Yeah. Certainly, it's a good company, no doubt about it. It has done phenomenally well in the recent years. My only little fear is that, this is one of the companies still yet to get any alert or warning or observation in the recent time. Almost all the companies in a row, and it has become now fashion. Every week you are seeing one bad news from one large pharma company. So therefore, I would not go overboard on company like Aurobindo. Maybe one can have a little exposure, but definitely I would be a little cautious on most of these large pharma companies.
Cautious on large pharma companies. Anything you're hearing in cement, which have seen a big move?
See, this keeps happening, but the industry itself is expecting only 4% demand growth for FY17.
And so, 2% price increase.
Yeah. So, every quarter, in the monsoon period, they go down, on this onset of summer, they go up. It's only for traders. But for value investors, I would not suggest. Maybe they can look at the stocks like OCL India. And, that is one stock I still believe, it's looking very attractive. But otherwise, I would suggest them to use this opportunity to, make a trading profit.
OCL India.
Yeah. The farmer name is Orissa Cement. So this looks still very cheap.
We've got a quote here. It's only on the BSE, is it?
No, it's available on NSE also. OCL.
Okay. We don't have the quote here. We'll sort of add the stock. Okay. Fair enough. Rohit, any thoughts on cement? Technically, cement stocks?
A fairly good breakout. I think it would probably provide you with a rally. I don't know for sure as to how far it goes, but it breaks the trend down that was there in existence for most of last year. So it does allow for some more upside in the near term. I don't have a longer term picture on it.
Okay, you don't have a longer term picture on it. Rohit, any specific thoughts on HDFC? That's HDFC Limited. I mean, it's been moving up 20 rupees over the each day for the last 3 sessions.
Yeah, that's been one of the strong stocks, I think, in the financial sector space. And in fact, if it had sold off, it would have given me an early indication of weakness in the market, because essentially what you saw when the Jan-Feb sell-off took place, some of these stocks that were stronger, like HDFC, HDFC Bank, LIC Housing, were actually falling off pretty sharply for the first time in a long period. So I was watching key retracements for these stocks, and as they continue to rise, it looks like at least HDFC is now getting, trying to get past those levels. So it will remain on watch as an indicator to, whether the market is regaining its, previous momentum, or probably, going into a further slide. But for the time being, as it holds on, gets to a higher level, I don't know how much upside I can put to it. But I'm probably watching it essentially as an indicator for what the market is likely to do.
Okay, that's interesting. Bharti and Idea, I spoke with Prashant Singhal. He's the global telecom leader with EY. And I sort of spoke with him day before yesterday, actually not yesterday, about whether what happens if the Reliance Jio launch gets delayed to the end of the year. And his point was that it would be pretty bad for them if they delay it beyond. I mean, the launch should happen by the middle of the year, because then, according to him, a delay further than that would mean they'd lose the first mover advantage. Already 4G smartphone sales are surging. I mean, 4G smartphone sales for the first time in the third quarter are more than non-4G smartphone sales. We're seeing these big ad campaigns, 4G campaigns from companies like Bharti. But if the launch is delayed, I think there are some news reports in today's newspapers as well, to later in the year. Maybe telecom stocks get a bit of a clean run. I don't know, but it's possible. But that would just be nothing on the business side, but just a bit of a break per se out there. And Rohit, metals and mining, Tata Steel, Hindalco, I mean, actually these two. What's your view?
Yeah, metals is something that I actually liked in Jan and Feb. We discussed it so many times, but they've had a pretty good rally. My sense is somewhere the whole reason for this rally was essentially that you'd get a sell-off in the dollar and some stability coming back to the commodities place, and I think that has happened. But it's possible that this rally may be at the fag end. Essentially, you've had this first run in commodities, and at some point of time, it will halt and correct. Second is, will the dollar sell-off, get even bigger from here? And my sense is probably immediately it might not. The dollar is beginning to get oversold in various currency pairs, and the dollar index itself is at a critical level, from where it's possible that it starts attempting to move up again. And when you get that, we might get a correction in the commodity space. So I think a pretty good rally has occurred. The upside potential may be relatively limited. If you're long, you'd probably trail your stops and try to just maximize whatever you can, and at some point then start looking for a correction down again in this segment. So probably there'll be an opportunity to re-enter it at a lower level, but right now from the very short term, it may be a little late to take any action on the metal side.